Hello and welcome back to yet another Saturday episode of Bobson Rants while playing Team Fortress 2 badly. So what is it I want to talk about this week while I am playing Team Fortress 2? What I want to talk about are remakes, reboots, and sequels in general, and basically just how odd it is to see something that is truly unique, something that is truly new come around in games and movies or on television or generally in the media at all, because having something that is truly new, truly different from anything that's ever been done before is rare. It's mainly because every idea has already been done. Everything that's ever been done has probably affected or influenced everything that gets made afterwards. So having something truly new, truly different can be very rare and can be very different and fun when it does happen. And the reason I'm even talking about this is because of No Man's Sky. This is a game that came out, or it should have come out yesterday, the 12th. I'm not really sure. At least that's what it said on Steam. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've seen news stories about it on Yahoo and like that. And I looked at the game before. I have not played it yet. Let me stress that I have not played it. In fact, I'm recording this before it's even been released. So I'm just going off of the information that is out there as of now. So, yeah, No Man's Sky is essentially an open galaxy exploration game. It's all procedurally generated. You basically start the game on this one world, and you have basic supplies, a spacesuit, jetpack, some tools, and a crashed spaceship. And then you have to go around gathering supplies, gathering information, get your ship working, and then take off and go out and explore the universe. Well, is it the universe or the galaxy? I think it's just the galaxy. But everything is procedurally generated. Nothing is pre-built, nothing is pre-rendered. It's all procedurally generated when you first create the game based on what your seed is. In a similar way that Minecraft uses a seed system to procedurally generate its game worlds. But instead of just one world, it's entire galaxies that are built. Countless worlds, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of worlds can be randomly generated with randomly created species on those planets. And your mission is basically to get to the galaxy's core, I think. I think that's the object of the game, as well as to explore, gather resources, and trade with aliens and all this kind of stuff. And it sounds interesting. It sounds fun. It sounds like something that has not been done before, because I cannot realistically think of any game that has been done like this before. Exactly like this. The basic concept of open world exploration is nothing new. The idea of gathering resources is nothing new, and procedurally generated world is nothing new. And it does remind me kind of like Spore, which came out years ago, where you had to create these races of little aliens, guide them through primitive life and to building their own civilizations, and they go out and explore the universe. So it does have a similar feeling to that, a similar idea to it, but as far as the game itself, it looks like it's something that has never been done. It looks like it's something entirely new, even though it utilizes elements that have been used before, but never put together in such a way. And that's the interesting part, because that's probably the best thing it has going for it, is the fact that it is similar enough to stuff that has come before without being a simple rip-off of them. I mean, it does have enough elements to it that people will recognize and say, hey, that looks like fun, it reminds me of this other game, or hey, that is similar to what I've played before, but done in a new way. So yeah, that's probably one of the reasons it's so popular and people have been talking about it so much. Or it could just be paid advertisements and people just buying into it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it does look interesting. It does look fun. And if I ever do get a new computer that can run that kind of game, that big of a game, then hopefully I'll be able to play it. But for now, I guess I won't be able to. But yeah, it's just weird seeing such a massively hyped game that seems so new. And like I said, it's not actually new, but it just seems new. Mainly because Most of the time, most games, most movies, most TV shows are just kind of rehashes of old ideas. They're either sequels, they're reboots, they're remakes. In one way or another, they're either concepts that have already been done in previous games or previous movies, basic wireframes that have just had new characters painted into them and built into them. And it's basically the same story, basically the same kind of gameplay, basically the same kind of thing that's been done before. I mean, you see this all the time with movies, where it's just the same thing over and over again, or they'll just keep making reboots or remakes of the same movie, or they'll just pump out sequels over and over again. And I've talked about this kind of thing before, where they'll just keep pumping out sequels. I mean, they're making another Fast and the Furious. I mean, Fast and Furious 8 is coming out in 2017, I think, which is odd. I find it odd that there's been that many movies in that series. But yeah, it's basically just a car racing kind of series thing. And I've never gotten into the movies. I didn't like it. It wasn't my thing. And my dad loves those movies, but I don't. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I, if it's popular, people like it, people watch it, then okay, fine. Be happy and watch it. But yeah, it's just odd not really seeing anything truly new, truly innovative, something that has not been done before. And like I said, it's partially because so many things have been done before. Over the past century, there have been tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of movies made. So having something that's truly original gets kind of difficult after a while. So you end up having stuff that is very reminiscent of a story that's been done before, very reminiscent of characters that have been used before in movies or on television, and you end up with kind of just the same thing that's been done before. And there's a reason for that. There is a reason for it, because, like I said, if it's similar enough to what people are familiar with, if it has similarities, if it has elements to it that they are already familiar with, they've already known from other series that they enjoyed, then they're more likely to go see it. They're more likely to go see a movie like that. They're more likely to tune in on television and watch a series that is similar to something they've already seen, or to play a game that is in the same genre of kind of game that they like to play. If they like to play city builder games, then they'll play a city builder game that has similar feeling to it, similar play style to it that they've already played before. Which is why a lot of games, a lot of gaming genres kind of stick to the same kind of elements over and over again, despite the fact that it's already been done. It's already been done, it's been proven successful, so they copy it and put out a new game that's almost exactly the same. I mean, the recent SimCity and, what was it, City Skylines, had similar elements to them, they had a similar look to them, and they both looked fun, they both looked entertaining, but they weren't particularly innovative or different from each other in any massive way. I mean, yes, there's for fundamental functions of the game that were different, but yeah, it's just getting into details right there I don't really want to get into. But yeah, I just wish there would be more unique, more different stuff that would come out every once in a while. I mean, like I said, there is a reason that they don't do that, and it's probably money, because big studios are very hesitant to spend tons of money on something that's not proven, that's not guaranteed to bring back that money. Because when they're spending $10 million, $100 million to make a movie, then they want to get that money back. And if they're doing it on an unproven intellectual property or an unproven idea or something they're not guaranteed to get their money back on, then yeah, they're really going to be angry if they don't get their money back, and they're going to be less likely to take chances, take risks on it in later movies and later projects. So you end up with 8 Fast and the Furious movies. You end up with Transformer movies that are just keeps going on and on again. Why? Because they make money. They make enough money to be profitable, so they make more of them. And I'm not saying that having sequels or remaking old TV shows and old movies is a bad thing. If people like it, if people enjoy it, if people pay money for it, fine. But it's still annoying that that kind of thing just kills any creativity and any originality. So yeah, but yeah, and the real problem is when they do this kind of thing, when they take old concepts or old ideas and try and remake them or redo them in ways that are just odd. I don't know. It happens a lot with comic book and comic book movies. They kind of remake them completely or completely reboot them. I mean, look at the Tobey Maguire movies for Spider-Man that came out in the early 2000s. They were fairly good movies. I liked them. They weren't the best. I mean, they weren't bad, but yeah, they were okay movies. I liked them. I had fun watching them. But for some reason, they decided to completely reboot the franchise with a new actor, new stories, and yeah, I don't know. And it didn't really it was different. Don't get me wrong, it was different, a new interpretation. But yeah, why? Why? It hadn't even been 10 years since the last Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3 came out, and they were already rebooting it into a new series. Uh, and the same thing with the Batman movies. Granted, the Batman movies the Batman series that came out starting in the late 80s with what was his name? Oh, what was his name? I don't remember. Batman Returns, Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, those kind of movies. What was his name? I forgot the actor's name that played Batman. I'm horrible. I'm a horrible fan. But yeah, I liked the first two. I liked Batman. I liked the Batman Returns movie. Batman Forever was kind of a clusterfuck, I have to say. There's no other term that I could say, no other word I could use to say that. Simply because it had too many villains. It had too many villains there that just stacked up on top of each other, and Batman and Robin was just a disaster. George Clooney. I hate George Clooney's Batman. I really do. And the entire movie was just bad, with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. Holy crap, that was just horrible. I'm sorry, I am a huge fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger's movies, but that one was just bad. I don't know. So I can understand why they wanted to reboot it, why they wanted to remake it. And they did. They remade it with Batman, the newer Batman series that came out over the past 10, 15 years. And it was very good. It was great movies. It was a nice way. They did it and reimagined it in a more realistic way. It wasn't just comic book fantasy kind of way. It was more realistic way, technical way. I mean, the way the Batmobile was made, the way it was designed, a lot of people didn't like it. I mean, yeah, I can see it wasn't stylized with the Batmobile that the comic book uses or the cartoons or anything like that, but it was more realistic. It was more military vehicle style, and that's really what it would have to be in order to do the kind of things that the Batmobile does. And yeah, I liked it. I honestly did. I liked those movies. They were a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, not rebooting a series, remaking it, or having sequels to it is not a bad thing when it's done correctly, when it's done right. It's very good. I just don't know. I don't even know why I'm even talking about this. It's just No Man's Sky kind of got me thinking about the fact that there's just so few original games that are coming out. A lot of them are either rehashes of old ideas. A lot of the movies are kind of rehashes or remakes of old ideas. And it's just nice to see something that's not entirely just a remake of something. I don't know. Even though, like I said, No Man's Sky is kind of takes concepts from other games and puts them together in a new way, but it looks interesting, and I thought I just wanted to talk about that, I guess. I mean, there are movies and stuff that come out that are original, that are profitable. I mean, just take a look at James Cameron's Avatar. It came out, it was a relatively untested idea. I mean, granted, it wasn't actually all that original. I mean, the setting of it was original. It was an entirely original intellectual property created by James Cameron. He was the writer for it. So, yeah, he was the writer for that, right? I'm not just pulling that out of my. I think he was a writer. He was. I know he was like the director, producer, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was an original idea. The entire world of Pangea, those giant blue Smurf people. It was an original idea, and it became very popular, and made a lot of money for him and the studio that produced it. So original ideas can work. Original concepts can work. It's just getting big name studios to take a chance with them and actually put the money into it and risking that money on something that may be a huge, colossal failure. I mean, there have been plenty of that kind of thing that has been huge failures over the years. So they're always squeamish, they're always a bit skeptical about wasting money on something that has not been proven to work. So, yeah, I don't know. What else? Is there anything else I want to talk about this week? No, not really. I think that's long enough for me. Okay, well, anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Bobson. This has been another episode of Bobson Rants. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye.